You're listening to the AI Executive Brief, and I'm Stephen Forte. Today's episode is when your rival becomes your engine. Today, we'll talk about why the biggest names in tech are licensing from their enemies, building marketplaces for the companies they spooked, and giving away software to sell more chips, and what all of it means for how you run your company this week. Let me set the scene. 6 weeks ago, Anthropic launched something called Claude Cowork, a set of industry-specific plugins for legal, finance, sales, and data work. The market reaction was violent. $285 billion wiped off software and financial services stocks in a single day. The S&P Software and Services Index dropped 25% over the next 6 weeks. Thomson Reuters had its worst day ever, down 18%. Jefferies called it the SaaS apocalypse. And Microsoft lost roughly $220 billion in market cap in 1 week. That was 6 weeks ago. What happened this week tells you everything about where the AI platform wars are headed. Story 1, Microsoft licenses the technology that nearly killed it. On March 9th, Microsoft launched Copilot Cowork, built in what the company described as close collaboration with Anthropic, using the very Claude Cowork technology that hammered its stock 6 weeks earlier. Let that sit for a second. Microsoft is now licensing AI from the company that triggered one of the largest software sell-offs in recent memory.
The business move is actually clever. Microsoft rolled out a new Frontier suite, $99 per user, generally available May 1st, bundling their E5 stack with Copilot and a new product called Agent 365. That last piece is the one to watch. It's a control plane for managing AI agents across your entire organization. And at $15 per user, it's priced to land in every department. The numbers suggest it's working. Copilot paid seats are growing 160% year over year. Daily usage is up 10 times. 90% of the Fortune 500 now use Copilot in some form. Here's what this means for you on Monday morning. If you're running the Microsoft stack, and statistically most of you are, the AI layer powering your Copilot experience may now be built by Anthropic. The same company that spooked your portfolio 6 weeks ago is now embedded in your productivity suite. That's not a problem necessarily, but it is a dependency you should understand. Talk to your CTO about which models are actually running under the hood. And if you're evaluating AI spend, know that Microsoft is making a big bet that bundling, not best of breed, wins the enterprise. That means your negotiating leverage on Copilot pricing just went up, because Microsoft needs seat count to justify the Anthropic licensing economics. Story 2, Anthropic builds an app store without taking a cut.
On March 7th, Anthropic launched the Claude Marketplace. It's an enterprise app store where companies buy third-party tools built on Claude. And here's the interesting part. The spend counts against your existing Anthropic commitment. No separate vendor process. Anthropic handles all invoicing. And at launch, it's no commission. Launch partners include GitLab, Harvey, Lovable, Replit, Rogo, and Snowflake. An Anthropic spokesperson put it this way: Claude is the intelligence layer. Our partners are the product. This is the hyperscaler playbook borrowed from Amazon and Microsoft, but applied to AI. Anthropic is pulling third-party procurement into Claude's commercial perimeter. And that solves the 3 biggest slowdowns in enterprise AI adoption: contracting, security review, and vendor onboarding. All 3 collapse into your existing Anthropic relationship. 2 weeks before the marketplace launch, Anthropic extended integrations to DocuSign, FactSet, Gmail, Intuit, and Salesforce. SaaS stocks actually jumped on that news. The company that nearly killed them was now offering a lifeline. The numbers tell the story of momentum. Anthropic now has over 300,000 business customers. Their enterprise market share has grown to 40%, up from roughly 4% a year ago. Meanwhile, OpenAI's enterprise share dropped from 50% to 27%. Anthropic's projected revenue hit $20 billion by early March, nearly doubled from $9 billion at the end of 2025.
For your business, this is a procurement strategy worth examining this week. If you're already spending with Anthropic, the marketplace means you can consolidate AI tool purchases under one contract. That's less vendor sprawl, fewer security reviews, and one invoice instead of 12. Ask your CFO to map your current AI tool spend across vendors. If 3 or 4 of those tools show up in the Claude marketplace, you may be able to cut your procurement overhead significantly. and get better volume pricing in the process. That's not abstract strategy. That's a P&L improvement you can model this quarter. Story 3, NVIDIA wants to own the agent layer too. NVIDIA is launching Nemaclaw, an open source platform for building and deploying enterprise AI agents. They're pitching it to Cisco, Google, and CrowdStrike, among others. And here's the detail that matters. It works regardless of whether your software runs on NVIDIA hardware. The expected announcement is coming at GTC 2026, which kicked off today. Alongside Nemaclaw, NVIDIA released Nematron 3 Super, a new model with 120 billion parameters, but only 12 billion active at any time, thanks to a mixture of experts architecture. It has a 1 million token context window, 5 times the throughput of the previous model, and scored #1 on the deep research bench for multi-step research tasks. It's already being used by Perplexity, CodeRabbit, and others. The strategic play is transparent. This is the Meta/Llama playbook. Give away the software to drive hardware demand. NVIDIA also recently acquired Groq and its inference chip technology, which may get detailed at GTC this week. The agentic AI market is projected to hit $28 billion by 2027, and NVIDIA wants to be the default infrastructure, whether you're building agents or running them. Here's what this means in practice. If your engineering team is experimenting with AI agents, and if they're not, your competitors' teams probably are, Nemaclaw is worth a serious look. It's open source with a permissive license, open weights, open data sets trained on over 10 trillion tokens, and open recipes. That means your team can build on it without the lock-in risk that comes with proprietary platforms. The practical step this week is to ask your CTO or head of engineering one question. Are we building any internal AI agents? And if so, what platform are we building them on? If the answer is vague, that's a conversation worth having before your next board meeting. IDC predicts 1.3 billion AI agents in circulation by 2028. The companies that figure out the agent layer now will have a significant operational advantage. So let's tie this together. All 3 of these stories share a pattern that should matter to anyone running a company. The platform wars are collapsing traditional competitive boundaries. Microsoft is licensing AI from the company that destroyed 220 billion of its market cap. Anthropic is building a marketplace that funds the SaaS companies it spooked. NVIDIA is giving away agent software to sell more chips. The old question, who's winning the AI race, is the wrong question. The right question is, how many of these companies are already embedded in your stack, and do you actually understand the dependencies? Your Microsoft Copilot might be running on Anthropic's models. Your AI tools might be consolidated through a marketplace run by the company that triggered a sell-off in your portfolio. Your agent infrastructure might be built on NVIDIA's open source platform, which exists to sell you more NVIDIA hardware. None of that is bad, but all of it requires that you and your leadership team understand the web of dependencies you're building. The companies that navigate this well will consolidate spend, reduce vendor risk, and move faster. The ones that don't will wake up one morning to discover their AI stack is a tangle of competing interests they never mapped. My suggestion, block 30 minutes this week with your CTO and CFO, map your AI dependencies, who powers what, where the contracts overlap, and where a single company's strategic pivot could ripple through your operations. That's not paranoia. That's just good governance in the age of AI. That's the AI Executive Brief for Tuesday, March 17th, 2026. I'm Stephen Forte. If this was useful, share it with someone who needs to hear it. I'll be back tomorrow with more. Until then, stay sharp.